A federal bill has been submitted to eliminate the possibility of Joe Biden, or any other president for that matter, suspending the Second Amendment due to a public health emergency. You've heard that before, right? Before I get into it, I want to thank the sponsor of the video, and that's Lear Capital. As many of you know, I am very particular at who sponsors this show. And I want you to know that I choose Lear Capital because they are aligned with American values, and their priority is to help educate and inform people, you and I, on what's happening in not only just politics, but the economy as well, and how to protect and preserve the wealth you already have. They also have a must-read report called The Tipping Point that explains why our American financial system is broken, how the US dollar is on its way to being extinct, and the plan for countries to move out from under the US dollar with a new gold-backed currency. Will the dollar die and force us to use a digital currency? What will this mean for gold and silver? There's a lot of great insider information in this new report, and it's free. So don't wait. Do what I did and ask all the questions you could possibly think of. Write them down, learn and absorb the knowledge so that you can decide what's right for you and your family. Lear helped me purchase my gold and my silver, and they answered all of my questions. And there's no obligation to purchase, so give them a call, 1-800-260-5075, or go to leargg.com. Learn about gold-backed IRAs or 401ks, or how storage works if you don't want to take possession of your physical gold and silver like I did. Now, Lear will give Guns and Gadgets viewers $250 in their account today, and will tell you how you can qualify and receive up to $15,000 in free bonus medals. All right, guys and gals, give them a call at 1-800-260-5075, or head over to leargg.com. And thanks to Lear Capital for sponsoring this video. Hey y'all, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, the premier source for Second Amendment news. If it's Second Amendment news you're after, no matter where it happens in this country, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, from litigation to legislation and everything in between, you should subscribe to this channel right now, because I'm going to bring you a ton of news every single day. Check the channel back multiple times a day because I'm always doing updates and YouTube won't tell you. So hit the subscribe button down below, turn the bell notification on to all notifications. Let's jump into this one. On Tuesday, just 48 hours ago, Representative Mike Cloud of Texas reintroduced the Protecting the Right to Keep and Bear Arms Act. Now, this comes in the wake of the tyrannical suspension of the Constitution that New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham pulled off, and that resulted in all of the Second Amendment groups suing her, all of them. And those cases were consolidated, and that resulted in a temporary restraining order in a federal district court. So it's being held back for now, and of course she has restructured that emergency health order so that people cannot carry openly or concealed in public parks or playgrounds, and that is going to probably be challenged as well. But the bill would prevent Joe Biden and the Department of Health and Human Services from using public health emergencies to implement gun control, just like Michelle Lujan Grisham did in New Mexico, as well as several political leaders in several areas of the country during COVID. Now, the bill would explicitly prohibit the president from declaring an emergency for purposes of imposing gun control, as well as block government officials from prohibiting the manufacturing, sale, or transfer of firearms and ammunition during a major disaster or emergency, thereby preventing them from illicitly using public health authority. Now, Representative Mike Cloud said this. He said, for a long time, radical left politicians have been open about their willingness to use executive authority and rob Americans of their Second Amendment rights. That is unacceptable, and it is Congress's duty to prevent it. The Biden administration, Governor Grisham, and others have exercised extraordinary executive power to push their liberal agenda and expand the power of the government. My bill would push back against any infringement on the Second Amendment and prevent the federal government from gaming the system to implement sweeping gun control regulations. Now, my buddy Aiden Johnston over at Gun Owners of America, he said this. This instance of New Mexico's tyrant governor using a public health emergency to unilaterally suspend the Second Amendment is just the latest example of public officials illegally using emergency powers to infringe on constitutional rights. We saw countless similar examples during the COVID pandemic, and lawmakers must act with a sense of urgency to ensure that President Biden and his anti-gun administration do not attempt something similar to these examples on a national level. And we've already heard about them talking about COVID again, right? And boosters and all that craziness. So we're heading in that direction, you know, because there's an election coming up. But this bill was resubmitted just 48 hours ago, so it hasn't been officially posted by the Library of Congress, but we can look at the version that Representative Cloud submitted last session because it's the same thing. And here it is on the screen. Let's go to Section 2, the limitation on declarations by the President. It says the President or any designee thereof shall not, for the purpose of imposing gun control, declare an emergency pursuant to the National Emergencies Act or an emergency or major disaster pursuant to the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. And Section 3 as well, limitation on declaration by Health and Human Services, says the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall not, for the purpose of imposing gun control, declare a public health emergency, pursuant to Section 319 of Public Health Service Act. Now, good on Representative Cloud for resubmitting this. I will say that only 29 of his brethren in the House have immediately co-sponsored this bill. It will grow, but I believe last session there were only 89 co-sponsors of that. So this has an uphill battle. However, in the House, there is a slight Republican majority. Does it go anywhere in the Senate if it even passes the House? That remains to be seen. But I think something like this, unfortunately, needs to be put into law because they don't seem to follow the Constitution anymore. Guys and gals, let me know what you think about this down below. Do you see what I see as this becoming a trend? Especially now that Michelle Lujan Grisham in New Mexico has jumped off the deep end. She has exposed their entire hand. And I think she did it a little early because they were pushing on this COOF thing again. And they were magically going to do this during that period is what I'm thinking, leading up to the election. Let me know what you think down below. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But I haven't seen anything from any government official at any level to say any otherwise. Guys, appreciate each and every single one of you. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. Be the sentinel that America needs to remain free. Take care.